Hey everybody, and welcome back to the 9 Frames podcast. This is episode 35. It is Wednesday, October 11th, 2023. I am Bill Whalen.
And I'm Mike Whalen.
You can catch us on YouTube at 9 Frames Podcast. We're on Spotify at 9 Frames, and our X is at 9 Frames Pod. Man, this was a really fun little couple days of baseball for a couple teams. Not so fun for a couple other ones.
Definitely. We appreciate the support as usual, as I say. Continue to like and subscribe to the videos, and just thank you for watching, honestly.
Yeah, definitely, and we'll get into these division series matchups as they keep rolling.
We're going to kick this one off in the first potential clincher, because the Twins and Astros couldn't clinch, and they were the first game.
Right.
Baltimore is shifting over to Texas for Game 3 of the ALDS, and Baltimore's down 0-2, man. They need wins badly. I mean, they're facing elimination.
Yeah, not feeling good after those last two games, and Nasty Nate's on the mound, an absolute October legend at this point.
Yeah, the O's really haven't looked like the O's of the regular season. Maybe it was because of that 5-day break, as the Braves fans would complain about. But the Astros, as I'll say again this year, don't appear to be affected by it as much.
Nah, never affected them.
This one would be all Rangers as well, man. It did not go the Orioles' way, and they just kind of looked punchless again. The game would finish 7-1, and it really wasn't close. After the second inning, it was basically over because the Orioles' offense just never got it going against Nate Eovaldi, who you just said is a postseason, just an animal in the post.
Very, very sad ending to a phenomenal season. They are a great young team, and they will be back.
Yeah, definitely a step in the right direction. 2 years ago, they lose 100-plus games, and now they win 100-plus. So you can't hang your head if you're an Orioles fan or a player or coach. They did great this year. Unfortunately, they ran into a buzzsaw. Apparently, the Rangers don't lose anymore.
No, not at all.
Nate Eovaldi was facing off against Dean Kramer, who becomes the first Israeli-born starting pitcher to start a playoff game. Congratulations to him for that, because that's a big deal.
Yeah, tip of the cap.
And Nate Eovaldi, he looked fantastic again, man. He had a great first game in the wild card series against the Rays, and he basically mimicked it in this game. He goes 7 innings again, 5 hits, excuse me, only allowing 1 earned run again, no walks, and 7 Ks. Absolutely dominating the Orioles.
Yeah, there's really no other way to word it besides Nate Eovaldi is just genuinely building a playoff legacy that will be remembered.
Yeah, unfortunately, Kramer, as we said, he makes history becoming the first Israeli-born pitcher, but he struggled very, very much early, specifically the second inning. But in the first inning, he gives up a solo shot to Corey Seager, who loves to hit in Texas, man. That ballpark is his. That's his first home run of the postseason. So it's 1-0 in the first, and then he gives up a 5 spot in the second via a Garver 2-run double, his first of the post.
Phenomenal series from Mitch Garver.
Oh, yeah. He's got his fingerprints all over he only played, Game 2 and 3? And he has...
all over there.
Yeah.
This is his 6th RBI there.
Yeah, I think
no, that's his 7th RBI there.
Yeah, he outscored the Orioles in the entire series by himself, almost.
Insane.
Yeah, so that's his first double for 2, and then Adolis Garcia hit an absolute no-doubt blast.
Destroyed.
A 3-run home run to make it 6-0. That was his second home run of the post. 6-0 in the second inning, facing elimination.
Against the Texas Rangers of this year, man, like we said, we literally said it just earlier on, the Texas Bats weren't done last game when they were already putting up runs like this. They're not done this game either.
Yeah, it wouldn't be much more, but it didn't really matter, as we were talking about with the Orioles offense, just really never getting it going. Kramer's final line would be an inning and 2/3, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, a walk, and no Ks. Yeah, it really wasn't what they needed at all, honestly. They needed somebody to give them 4 or 5 scoreless or 1 or 2 runs at least to keep them close.
The pitching in general was really disappointing in this series, and man, shout out to Texas. They're now 5-0 against 99-win team and 101-win team in the last week.
Yeah, absolutely. The Orioles starting pitching was a huge issue in this series. Texas just kind of jumped on them early, pretty much every game. They would get their lone run in the 5th inning from a Gunnar Henderson single, and as you said, Texas's bats wouldn't be done. As soon as they get a run back, Texas in the bottom of the 6th inning, Nate Lowe hits a solo shot, his first of the post, to round out the scoring, making it 7-1, which would be the final for Game 3, and it is a 3-0 sweep for the Texas Rangers, who are now back in the American League's championship series for the first time since 2011.
Yeah, it was really cool to see them celebrate, man. These guys deserve it. This is a great group of guys, and they have dealt with a lot of adversity this year, and I haven't seen a team deal with it as well as they have in a long time.
Yeah, there was a streak there in the middle of the middle to late portion of the season where we were talking about maybe they might not make it.
That's what I'm saying. You think about that streak, and then you also think about them dropping the division on the last weekend of the year. That's a lot to just feel bad about, and this team didn't do that at all. Their goal was to make the postseason, and they fought it out from there.
Yeah, they picked themselves up. Guys filled in for injured starters like Scherzer, Gray, and DeGrom all year. I mean, the Rangers really were built for depth and to last, and we're seeing it. And they're in the American League Championship Series.
Any Orioles fans listening, I know it's disappointing right now, but there are so many bright spots on this team, and 101 wins. You're not going anywhere. I'm sure you guys are itching for opening day already.
Yeah, nothing to scoff at. Great season for the O's, but the Rangers roll on. Potentially, we are on a potential head-on collision between the Rangers and the Astros, man. That could be a crazy.
It really could be. And,
CS.
And yesterday was a great day to be a Texas baseball fan in general. We'll get into that later.
Yeah. Congratulations to the Rangers.
Big congratulations. They move on to the ALCS, and we'll see who faces them later on this week.
12 years is a long time, man.
Taking it on over to the National League for what really was the game of the postseason thus far. A phenomenal watch beginning to end.
Yeah, absolute insane ending.
Philadelphia and Atlanta in Truist Park for Game 2 of the NLDS sees Max Fried take on what has been a very dominant Zach Wheeler as Atlanta desperately looks to get the bats going. They don't want to be down 2-0 to their rivals.
No, and you never want to lose the first 2 games in your building and then have to hit the road like the Orioles just had to do against the Rangers because you see what could happen.
Yeah, we see how that plays out and it doesn't go well. What can Atlanta do? Well, doesn't start great because Philadelphia starts with an Alec Bohm single that scores Trey Turner, and then Real Muto gets a 2-run homer in the third. So they're up 3-0 in the third inning. That's early.
Yeah, the crowd was quieted early, again by the Phillies bats. This time the result was a little bit different, though.
Wheeler was dominant to this point, though. He had K'd the first 2 innings without allowing a hit or a walk. The only way that someone got on was an error.
Yeah, he looked insane to start the game. They were just not picking up his stuff at all.
Fried in this game, he goes 4 innings pitched, 6 hits, 4 walks, 3 Ks, and 3 runs as Atlanta looks to the pen after that.
I mean, I just want to say... we were talking about it as the game was going, and the Braves' offense just looked kind of punchless for a game and a half, and it's really weird because we haven't seen the Braves' offense look like that basically all year.
No, it's been weird since then. They started with 14, 15 scoreless innings to start this postseason.
I don't think that happened once during the regular season is what I saw.
Not at all.
That's just insane.
Definitely. Nick Castellanos gets a 1-out single versus Kirby Yates. That's who they look to in the pen in the 5th inning, and then steals second and third base on a d'Arnaud throwing error over second base, which I wanted to get your opinion on. I'm sure you got strong ones.
I said it during the game. I didn't really I don't understand why catchers do this, and specifically, it looked like d'Arnaud does it a lot. He stays down on a knee even for when he's throwing the ball down to second base.
Yeah.
I've never seen a catcher be taught to do that.
No.
I mean, he's the big leaguer. If that's what you want to do, man, I mean, your coaches should probably tell you to stop.
Yeah. I'll say this: I caught for years. Never got anywhere close to Major League Baseball, obviously. Never had a coach tell me to do that. I actually had them tell me to do the complete opposite.
Yeah,
you pop to your feet, use the ball of your foot, spin off it, and throw with your shoulder and your hips.
Yeah, the whole stat is called pop time.
How can you
he's
use
not
your,
doing it?
You can't use your lower half if it's not grounded. You're
Yeah.
on one knee spinning around. It's insane, and the ball sails over the second baseman's head.
Yeah,
and
not
goes into
surprisingly.
center field. This comes back to bite them as well as Bryson Stott, scores Nick Castellanos on a sac fly to make it 4-0 Philadelphia, and Atlanta's reeling at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they got to feel nervous, especially considering their offense has just looked very different than it ever has this year.
Their defense really looked lackluster in this game as well. Up to this point, at least.
Yeah, they haven't been playing the best of baseball games, which is rare for them.
Not the time to do it. But Atlanta does finally get to Zach Wheeler with an all-base single and a weird nonchalant error by Trey Turner in the 6th to make it 4-1.
Yeah, I don't know if the ball like rolled up his arm or something, or he didn't like fully grab it the first time.
He
But
went for a weird like backhand, not really, I don't know, and the ball gets away from him. That does lead to a run, which is tough to see. And now it is a 3-run game for Philadelphia.
Anytime you commit errors in like the latter half of the game, it's never good.
Yeah, the next inning we see a Matt Olson single and a majestic 2-run homer by d'Arnaud to cut the lead to 4-3. So he definitely makes up for his error formally.
I was gonna say, yeah, making up for the throwing error. What better way to do it? I mean, he added an extra run than what they gave up because of it, so he definitely made up for it.
Very true, and that'll do it for Zach Wheeler. He goes 6 1/3, gives up only 3 hits and 1 walk, gets 10 Ks, 3 runs, only 2 earned because of the Trey Turner error, and they go to the pen.
Yeah, another great start for Wheeler.
It really is.
They kind of caught up to him late, but the Braves will do that. I mean, they're just that kind of team.
Either way, kept them in this game, and he exited the game with a lead.
Yeah, gave him a damn good chance to win.
Yeah, we take it to the 8th inning now, and Acuna is on base. The Game 1 winner, Jeff Hoffman, on the mound, and Austin Riley pulls a huge 2-run homer on a full count to take the lead 5-4. This at-bat was funny, man. He threw a first-pitch slider to him, which it looked like he was all over. Austin Riley, that is, was all over the first-pitch slider. He kind of sat slider all at-bat, and that full-count pitch was also kind of a hanging slider that he got the bat head to and pulled hard.
Yeah, Austin Riley has kind of become one of the most clutch hitters in the postseason. It seems like any time he's got a chance to knock in guys in the bottom of the 7th, 8th, or 9th inning in playoff games, he always comes through. And they're usually extra base hits, which is just insane. But he does it again.
I mean, this massive 2-run homer, Philadelphia has 3 outs to work with now. It's terrible, man.
Yeah.
It could not be worse.
Quick flip. They go 1-2-2 in the 6th, 7th, 8th, and then all of a sudden you're down a run, man. 5-4. That's pretty quick.
Yeah. And then Raisel Iglesias comes on in the 9th. He gives up a walk to Bryce Harper, and then he gets JT Realmuto out. Nick Castellanos comes on, man, obviously a phenomenal hitter, hits a really tough ball to deep right center field.
I thought he got him.
Yeah, I mean, clearly Bryce Harper did as well. He rounds second base trying to score, but Michael Harris III makes a really insane leaping catch up on the wall, and he doubles up Harper at first with a cutoff by Austin Riley. It got to be like the first time that combination of numbers happened, right?
Yeah, certainly the play of the postseason so far from Michael Harris. That grab was insane.
I believe that was an 8-5-3 double play.
Yeah, I think what had happened was he was trying to throw it to the cutoff at second, and he missed him. And then Riley saw how far Bryce was still off of first base, and he ran over and cut it off and quickly threw it over to first for a great heads-up play.
Riley was screaming 1-1-1, but none of the other infielders knew it, so actually they're lucky the ball got to him.
He did it himself.
Pretty impressive stuff, and that is ball game. 1-1 series tie. I wanted to just touch on this for a second. It's all speculation, obviously. Atlanta keeps hitting breaking balls really hard, and there are strong whistles being audible in these clips. I just want to know if you think anything's there.
I'm not going to... I mean, I've been saying I think that they're doing some fishy stuff all year, but I don't know. It's a playoff game. A lot of people are making noise. It did look a little suspect that the whistles were very loud on the homers, but I don't know.
I mean, watch the clips yourself, folks, and form your own opinions on it, obviously. But if you watch the d'Arnaud homer and the Riley homer, they do both come on breaking balls. Not the easiest pitches to hit out like that, and they are all over it after a very strong whistle, similarly heard. Yeah,
I mean, I guess we'll see if anything ever comes out of it, but you'd think that would be a stupid way to cheat because, like, the Orioles literally, or the Astros literally got caught for making louder noises.
To a certain extent, it might not even be cheating. That might have been...
just him tipping his pitch.
It could have been him tipping his pitches and the bench is calling it out with a whistle.
Yeah, I mean, that's perfectly fine.
It could be, but either way, I just want to know if there's anything there from a baseball perspective because it's really interesting when things like that happen.
Yeah, I wonder what...
They were all over the sliders all night.
I wonder what, if anything, will come out of it, but Raisel Iglesias was a great pickup from the Red, or I think it was the Angels actually a couple of years ago for the Braves. I mean, he's been their closer for a couple of years now, and he's turned into one of the better ones.
Really, a guy who's bounced around more than he should have with the stuff he has.
Yeah, he's got some pretty gross stuff, and he seems to always be nails at the end of these games for the best team in baseball.
Very true. And now Game 3 with a 1-1 series tie moves over to Philadelphia. We go to Citizens Bank Ballpark for Bryce Elder versus Aaron Nola.
Yeah, Elder was just announced really recently, within the last hour, they were still TBD. I mean, we both assumed that it had to be Elder.
Yeah, we originally wrote this episode up, and we thought this is definitely going to be Bryce Elder pitching this game, and it is.
And something that I noticed in the Braves transaction wire is that they've activated Charlie Morton, so if they get through the DS, Morton will be on the CS roster, and he'll be in the rotation for them.
Almost positive he would be the Game 3 starter here if it wasn't for that situation, yeah.
Definitely, but I mean, if they get through, that means Elder gets pushed back to 4. They're looking better now. They got another guy that's got lots of postseason experience.
Definitely. And Nola here coming off a great start of 7 shutout innings pitched. So, I mean, we'll have to see what happens in that game.
A huge game for the Phillies and Braves. I mean, more so the Phillies, because if they can grab this game and go up 2-1 with your home crowd again tomorrow night, might be able to strangle them again in 4.
Very true. No matter what happens, we are getting that Game 4. As of right now, it's listed as a TBD versus TBD. But you got to assume that this is going to be Game 1's matchup, unless Philadelphia opts for either Taijuan Walker or Christopher Sanchez instead of Suarez. But the way Suarez pitched in that first game, I think maybe they just go right back.
Yeah, and he only went 4 3 2/3. So I mean,
3 2/3. Yeah,
he didn't throw an abundance of pitches.
Only gave up 1 hit, 1 walk.
They probably did that by design, so he'll be more fresh for a game like Game 4.
I would guess that we do see Spencer Strider versus Ranger Suarez again in that game if it when it reaches that point, and then Game 5, if it took place, would be on Saturday. So we would talk to you guys about that on Friday. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on this series now that we're tied up 1-1 with a couple games to go at least.
I think that loss that the Phillies suffered from the Harris double play and blowing it late, that's a real momentum blower. And the Braves are historically pretty good against Aaron Nola. I mean, I was looking at their numbers. They all got a lot of extra base hits, homers, and all the good stuff against him. So
not what you want to see.
I mean, he looked great against the Marlins, but the Braves are far different than the Marlins.
Definitely a different beast.
And they're going to need him to repeat what he did in the wild card round. I think I'm going to have... I mean, my pick originally was Phillies in 5. I'm going to stick with them, obviously, because it's still possible. And I'm not going to just backtrack my pick after 1 loss.
No, I was actually going to say I feel pretty strongly that my pick is going to happen to a T.
I think this
Braves
game
in 5.
I think this series is going 5 regardless.
I think we're getting Braves in 5 the same way I thought that at the beginning of the series. Yeah, and I could see it going either way. These teams, they fight each other.
I think it's a toss-up, man. I mean, it's whoever is just gonna grit it out.
Agreed.
And Philly did it last year, so why can't they do it again?
Yeah, it should be a fun watch on Wednesday with Elder versus Nola, and Thursday with definitely going to be Strider for the Braves, and we would think Ranger Suarez for the Phillies. We'll keep an eye on that and update you guys on Friday on how it's going.
We're going to go back over to the American League. The Houston Astros, defending champs, they are in danger of going down 2-1 because this series shifts back to Minnesota, and it's going to be Christian Javier, who has been absolutely filthy in his last 2 playoff starts. I think he's allowed 1 hit, and he was a part of the World Series combined no-hitter. He was the one that started it.
You really don't even have to say last 2. This guy's just been a stud in the playoffs in his whole career so far.
Yeah, he's been one of the biggest weapons for them in the postseason. And he'll be taking on Sonny Gray, who was really good in the first round. And I looked back at it in 2017 when he pitched in the ALCS against the Astros. He was pretty good against them in that game, but 2017 to 2023 is a very different team.
Yeah, man, we see that as this game does not go well at all. It is a pretty dominant win. There isn't much fight from Minnesota at all. Not a fun watch after the first inning. Sonny Gray instantly got into trouble, and a Kyle Tucker RBI single and an Abreu majestic 442-foot 3-run homer makes it 4-0 Houston in the first inning.
Yeah, he hit that ball 442, like you said, at 110. It got out quick, and it went far. It was... majestic is an understatement. He crushed that ball.
Minnesota has had a really, really fun playoff atmosphere at Target Field. It didn't feel like that after this because, man, they were sitting on their hands after this. Minnesota was absolutely silent at the plate versus Christian Javier. As we said, he goes 5 innings pitched, 1 hit, 5 walks, which was weird, man.
Yeah.
And 9 strikeouts, so he's mowing him down.
Now, I know we say that he's been really good in the postseason, but I'm going to give a little bit of a shout out to the Shadows. They definitely had to help play a part.
Yeah, it gets ugly during day games there at Target Field, but it does impact both lineups, and Houston's lineup was not short for runs at all.
The shadows weren't as prominent when the game started in the top of the first, and then they kind of shifted in, and it made it harder to see around the second, third innings. And the Twins didn't answer back in the first, so that's on them. But once the shadows settled in, it gets really tough to see in that ballpark. And
it needs something to block it out in some way. I really don't know what the solution is.
I mean, you can see by looking at the box score, there was 6 straight zeros around that time.
I saw Correa strike out and literally said, I can't see.
Or 7 straight zeros, I suppose. Still not taking it away from Christian Javier at all. I mean, he's been great. Like I said,
to say, man, in 15 postseason games, and only 3 games started so far, he's 5-1 with a 1.91 ERA, a .96 WHIP, in 37 2/3 innings pitched. He has 57 strikeouts. It's been phenomenal.
Yeah, they'll definitely take that from him any day of the week. It's interesting that he was predominantly a reliever until the American League Championship Series last year.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it paid off for them because, like I said, he was the one that started that no-hitter in the World Series, and he picked up where he left off this time.
Yeah, definitely a solid starter for sure. Alex Bregman does a pretty impressive thing here. He gets a solo homer in the 5th and an RBI single in the 6th, so he gets back-to-back RBIs in innings to go up 6-0 for Houston. Minnesota finally gets one off of Hunter Brown, who comes on in relief off a Willie Castro RBI single, but that would do it for Minnesota.
Yeah, it would be far too late at that point. The score would be 6-0 by the time they get one. And, I mean, it's the same thing as the Orioles game. They gave up runs. You just can't. It's too hard in the playoffs to overcome something like that with how good these staffs are now.
Definitely.
At this point in the season.
We'll give shout-outs to the Houston Bats because in the 9th inning, Alvarez hits a home run for his 4th of the postseason to go up 7-1. He goes 3 for 5 in this game with 2 doubles and a homer. We were watching it live. It should have been 4 for 5 with 3 doubles and a homer. Yeah, he absolutely murdered them yesterday.
He is the most dangerous man on the planet when the postseason starts. He reminds me a lot of David Ortiz. Got very similar numbers. He's just, anytime he gets in the box in the playoffs, you think the guy might homer.
He's really one of those guys with a legitimate argument for best hitter in the game today.
Yeah, absolutely. He's definitely one of the best left-handers, best left-handed hitters in the game, like undoubted.
Definitely. Jose Abreu adds on with his 2nd homer of the game for a 2-run homer, 5 RBI day for him. He probably gets the MVP.
That one also goes 440 at 110, so it was around the same spot, and it got out around the same speed, man. Abreu had a fantastic game.
Yep, most definitely. And
I was shocked to see that he had 90 RBI this year, man. It's
that Houston lineup. There was a lot of people scoring no matter what.
He's just an underrated baseball player. Former MVP. I know it was in the shortened season, but he was great for the White Sox for a while, and
I mean he was always in the discussion back in the day.
90 RBI is impressive no matter what team you're on.
This is a 9-1 Houston win after that, and a hideous game for Minnesota. They only get 3 hits in the game. Really ugly.
Yeah, they need to bounce back today for sure, or else they're going to be going home.
Yeah, 2-1 Houston lead with a chance to finish it off because they got to pick it right back up tonight at 7 o'clock. Game 4 will be Jose Urquidy, who was 3 for 3 with a 5.29 in 16 games and 10 games started. I think it's going to be a heavy reliance on the pen behind him.
Yeah, I mean, you never know with these Astros starters in the playoffs, but I think that is probably their thought process as well.
He has a lot of experience in the playoffs as well, somewhere in the 30s in innings pitched. It's a decent amount, and he's in the 3s.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes deeper, but if he gets in trouble, you might see somebody like a Hunter Brown. I'm not sure if he's on the roster, but maybe a J.P. France if he is, to try to eat up some innings.
Either. Yeah, I haven't seen him yet.
But for sure, I would, because Hunter Brown came in for the 9th yesterday.
No, he was the first one in after.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
how many innings?
2.
Oh, only 2 innings. He's a starter. I mean, he could.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they go back to that kind of. I think that's what the Twins did with Kenta Maeda all playoffs.
They are definitely hoping that Urquidy could give them a little something, though.
Urquidy will be facing off against Joe Ryan. I can't believe it took this long for him to get out there. Honestly, he is 11-10 on the year with a 4.51, so it's a bit high, and 29 games started. But he had 197 Ks this year. Yeah,
we said Joe might get the Game 1 nod, but they decided to go with Bailey Ober instead. Ober was the one who came in and gave up the second home run to Abreu and Jordan's home run.
Yeah, he had a short start in Game 1, and then comes out of the pen later on in the series.
Yeah, he hasn't had a good series at all. So it'll be Joe Ryan's turn to get a chance.
I mean, obviously, I think I know what you're going to say, but you think Minnesota survives for 5?
I think they can, and if they go back to Game 5, dude, they're going to have Pablo on the bump, and he's nasty. So
yeah, my pick was Houston in 4. I'm pretty sure that happens tonight, and that would be... I have a chance of getting that and the Atlanta series exactly right. And I did get the Texas series right. It did not take nearly as long as I thought.
True.
But, pretty good start so far in predictions. If Minnesota can win, Game 5 would surely see Lopez on 4 days rest versus a Verlander or a Valdez. I think they probably go Verlander. But regardless, if that happens, we would update you guys on Friday's episode. And that would be a really fun watch on Friday. So I'm kind of pulling for it because I would just like to watch game of baseball on Friday for everything.
Yeah, true. Anytime it's like a Game 5, Game 7, it's a winner-go-home game, everyone's going to be on deck, all arms. They'll probably start with Pablo if he struggles. I wouldn't be surprised to see anybody out there.
Of course.
The season's on the line. You got to pitch whoever and whenever.
I'm sticking with my Houston in 4 prediction. I think on Friday we'll be talking to you guys about how this series ended right here.
Yeah, I mean, definitely possible. The Astros are a unit, and, I mean, that would be interesting, though. Rangers, Astros.
Silver boot ALCS. It's more of a golden boot now.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a bloodbath for sure.
Keep your eye on it, folks. It's going to be a dogfight tonight. And back on over to the National League as we see the Arizona Diamondbacks and the LA Dodgers continue their series. Game 2 takes place Monday, and this is huge for both teams, man.
Yeah, I would say it's bigger for LA because you don't want to, like we were saying about the Braves, you don't want to lose those first 2 games at home and then got to hit the road.
Back against the wall, a 3-0 is pretty brutal. If anyone can do it, it's the Dodgers, but they don't want to be in that spot.
Absolutely not.
This one is Zach Gallen versus Bobby Miller. We set you guys up for that on Monday's episode. Really fun matchup. They both had solid years.
It's ace day for Arizona. Luckily, they got an absolute showing from Merrill Kelly in their first game, so we'll see what Gallen could do.
Yeah, 3.47 on the year for Gallen and 3.76 for maybe 3.79 for Bobby Miller. Either way, around that. Unfortunately, though, the start of this game is an ugly one. The rookie loads the bags, and he does not have an out. Bobby Miller, that is. Walker gets a sac fly. Gabriel Marino gets an RBI ground out. So it's tough because he's getting outs now.
Yeah, but you're trading outs for runs.
Too little, too late. You can't load it after that.
You can't afford to trade outs for runs in the first inning, the top of the first inning.
Lourdes Gurriel gets an RBI single for the first actual hit for a run, and that makes it 3-0 Arizona before the Dodgers even reach the plate.
Again, man, the D-backs are jumping all over them. The Dodgers starters, Kershaw and Bobby Miller, really were just not good.
Yeah, this is just proof that baseball is it's a tough sport, man, because the Dodgers were heavy favorites in this series, and they have been just mollywopped in the early innings.
Yeah, even the best of teams can look bad against teams that they know the D-backs well.
Definitely.
They played them 13 times this year.
Yeah. J.D. Martinez gets to Gallen finally for an opposite field solo homer in the 4th. This was pretty wild to see him get it out. He muscled this thing, man. He's getting up there in age, but the vet still gets it out.
Yeah, I mean, great to see. Anytime I wanted JD on the Mets, man. He's like the perfect designated hitter. You don't need him to play the field much. He's just going to get in there, and he's going to swing the bat.
Yeah, he cuts it down to 3-1 for the Diamondbacks. But Lourdes Gurriel, man, he stays hot with a solo homer himself in the 6th to go up 4-1. They never really look back.
Yeah, I mean, I know the Blue Jays love Dalton Varsho, but that trade for Moreno and Gurriel, sending them to Arizona, looks like Arizona's the bigger winner of the 2 teams at this point because these guys both have their fingerprints all over basically every game of the postseason.
Yeah, very
One
true.
of them, if not both.
Definitely.
So, I mean, they've both been fantastic for them all year, and now they're continuing it in the postseason.
Moving it on over to the bottom of the 6th, there was massive pressure in this inning. Gallen loads the bases up, and the pen comes in to try to save him. This was pretty wild. Kike gets an RBI infield single up the middle. Really filthy play by Ketel Marte to save a run here. That would have made it 4-3.
Absolutely.
And then the phenomenal Arizona pen. You didn't think you'd be talking about them like this, but they are untouchable so far.
That's what wins in October, man. If you can get a pen and starters lined up that just don't give up runs, man. And you just got to score a couple like the D-backs have been doing.
Yeah, the phenomenal Arizona pen comes in to relieve Zach Gallen after 5 1/3 of 2-run ball, and they combine for 3 2/3 shutout ball to finish this off 4-2 for Arizona.
What is the high the postseason? The D-backs haven't given up more than 3 in a game.
Pretty wild, man. Andrew Salfrank, Ryan Thompson, Kevin Ginkel, and Paul Sewald, who gets the 3rd save of the postseason, get the job done for 3 2/3 shutout versus a really hefty Dodgers lineup.
The Dodgers got ganked.
They did get ganked. They got ganked bad. Arizona is now up 2-0, man, on the big bad Dodgers. 1 game to go.
Yeah, they really went into their ballpark and just kind of beat the shit out of them, which is pretty funny to see. It's funny, but it's also not funny because you got to feel for that fan base. I mean, they do have their 2020 World Series, but I mean, a lot of people
I see a lot of them being they're trying to join in on the Braves pity party of having off days, which is pretty wild.
I don't know what these teams are talking about.
We talked about Texas to start. That team is happy to have some off days right now. They had to travel 8,000 miles to play, and they are 5-0 against 100-win teams.
And again, I'll point right to Houston. They don't let it affect them ever.
Now dominant in their last game and looking to clinch their series as well. Yeah,
not really. Their 6th straight ALCS.
I mean, you can't make excuses.
Yeah, just win the games.
Game 3 Wednesday night as the Dodgers fight for their season, man. We'll see Lance Lynn, who went 13-11 in 32 games started and 7-2 with an 11 games started as a Dodger. So he won a lot of games, but his ERA was high. He was still almost at a 5 with the Dodgers and above a 5 with the White Sox.
He had a couple starts where he looked really, really good, but then he had some starts afterward that were they would balloon the ERA a little bit.
He'll be taking on Brandon Pfaadt, who goes 2 2/3, 3 earned runs versus Milwaukee on October the 3rd in the Wild Card Series. This is going to be a fireworks game of offense, I think.
Rookie taking on the vet for sure. They need Pfaadt to give them a little more length. I don't know if that's going to happen against the D-bat or the Dodgers. This might be where we see the Dodgers offense open up a little bit. And hopefully, for the Dodgers' sake, Lynn can just keep them semi into it, like give them a quality start at least.
Right, yeah. That would be tough to get swept out of the playoffs by the Diamondbacks, man. They got to fight for their lives tonight. And, I mean, obviously I had the Dodgers in 4. That's over.
Yeah, I think I also had the Dodgers in 4, which is over. This was the series that I was thinking would be the most surprising if the lower seed lost to or beat the higher seed.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. This was one where the Diamondbacks have really been dominated by the Dodgers in regular season play, and it has been only the opposite.
Yeah, I mean they've had their number for seasons now, and it's just it doesn't look like that in these 2 games.
If they can survive Game 3, the possible Game 4 Thursday says TBD versus TBD right now. But it looks to be the same matchup as Game 1 if it happens. I was looking at depth charts. There's really no other options. There's literally not another option for the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, the Diamondbacks have
They have 3 starters on the whole team, and one of them is Brandon Pfaadt, who is kind of a borderline guy. It goes Gallen, Kelly, and then Pfaadt. So this will be definitely Kelly. And the Dodgers kind of just need to lean on Kershaw as the guy to go to here.
The only thing that I could see the Diamondbacks doing is maybe going like an opener with Ryan Nelson and seeing if they could piece, because their bullpen has been dominant, so why not continue to lean on them if they don't want to go Kelly, because I don't think Gallen's going to be able to go in Game 5. I mean, it's going to be
in Game 5, you don't think he would?
It'll be a quick turnaround. He's already pitched twice.
Yeah, we'd have to talk
Kelly's
about that
only pitched
on Friday.
once.
True, that is true.
Gallen's got more innings and wear and tear on the arm.
I do think it would be pretty normal rest, though. 4 days rest, would it be? Something like that?
Yeah, that's not... I mean, that's short. We'll see.
That'd be Monday to Saturday. I think that's a full rest, right? Just about.
I guess. I don't know. We'll see what they do.
Yeah, but that would be Game 5, which we would talk to you guys about on Friday anyway. But Game 4, if the Dodgers can survive, probably Kershaw versus Kelly in a matchup, because I don't think you can really lean on a guy like Pepwa instead of a veteran in Kershaw.
Yeah, I don't really know where the Dodgers would go either. They're kind of riddled with injuries as well, losing Urias to that whole domestic violence thing. Bueller's been out all year. Yeah, they're just missing guys.
Yeah, Dustin May is missing. Definitely disappointing. It would be an entirely different staff if they were healthy.
Tony Gonsolin's out.
Very true. He got hurt at the very end of the year. Yeah, you're right, man. They are missing a lot of pitchers, more than people are giving them credit for missing.
Yeah, wrong time for the arms to go down. And I mean, the guys that you have left, the Kershaws and the Bobby Millers, giving up lots of runs early.
Game 4 a bit up in the air, but Game 3 is absolutely locked in, and we hope you guys watch that as it is the nightcap tonight.
Yeah, it should be interesting.
See if we'll even be talking about the Dodgers on Friday.
We might not be, which is really crazy to say.
All right, everyone, that was episode 35 of the 9 Frames podcast, and it is Wednesday, October 11th, 2023. I have been Bill Whalen.
And I've been Mike Whalen.
Catch us always on YouTube at 9 Frames Podcast. Our Spotify is 9 Frames, and our X is at 9 Frames Pod. Give us a follow, a like, a subscribe, hit the bell to know when we go live every time on our channel.
Yeah, we appreciate the constant support.
Yeah, subscribe, please, like, everything. We will catch you guys on Friday for what could be setting up Game 5s, what could be recapping series that are already over. We do not know yet.
And looking forward to the championship series.
And the championship series are fitting up to be phenomenal matchups. Really great teams here that have stuck to the end. And not what you would think, man. We could be talking about the Diamondbacks as National League champions soon.
Yeah, and one more time, congratulations to the Texas Rangers on being the first team to punch their ticket.
Yeah, most definitely. See if we get the silver boot. See if the Twins can put up a fight. We'll see if the NL East teams can fight each other to the very end. It's going to be a fun playoffs.
See y'all on Friday.